What's this? A letter for me.
Alright, welcome back to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. I am going to share with you 4 returns that I got back in the last few weeks. These are, I think, baseball returns, and I know that from the postmarks. So we're going to jump right into this and see what we got. Alright, this first one is postmarked from Fargo, North Dakota. So, I do not remember who this is, because I don't remember writing somebody in North Dakota, but very happy to get this one back. And this is former, pull him out of the sleeve here, former Twins starter Dave Goltz. And there he is signing autographs. How cool is that? If he's not signing autographs, he's doing paperwork, one of the two, or writing a speeding ticket. So we got 1, 2, and these are the 2 that I'm excited to get back. I'm again starting with my leaders cards you've seen from other previous videos, but how cool would this be to complete? I mean, Dennis Leonard's a pretty obtainable autograph, but to get Carlton and Palmer on there, I don't know how I'm going to accomplish that. Probably have to go to a card show or something to pay for those. But Mr. Goltz obviously was one of the victory winners in 1977. I'm just going to pull this one aside and take a look at this card here. Goltz won 20 games in the American League in 1977, and he, along with Leonard and along with Palmer, so all 3 of those guys had 20 wins each. So that's why there's a 4-player victory card. And Steve Carlton had 23 wins. So he was the lone National League victory leader. But Leonard, Goltz, and Palmer all had victories that year. So very happy to get that one back. Very happy that he signed those for me. He was a very good pitcher for a long time. This is his 78 tops, so that's the newest one I have, so this would have been right after his 20-game season. I don't have his stats in front of me, but I know he was a pretty effective pitcher for the Twins for a little while, but he didn't play very long, so I don't know if the 20-game season was his best. I'm going to assume that it was. Obviously, like every other person that I feature in this type of video, I will have his stats down at the bottom if you want to check those out for yourself. I think it's very important to remember these guys for the great seasons that they had. So thank you, Mr. Goltz. I'm going to try to get Dennis Leonard to sign that next, hopefully, and we'll go from there. I know better to send it to Palmer or Carlton through the mail. They're not I'm not saying that they don't sign through the mail, but you have to pay a pretty hefty price from what I understand to get those back signed. So might just wait and go to a card show to get them. This next one is kind of an interesting one. It's from Montgomery, Alabama, and if I think who it is, and I am correct because there's his face, this is probably a very infamous player that some of you may or may not know about. Some of the younger viewers may not know this guy, but this is Mr. Mackey Sasser on 4 of 4. That one's got, looks like a small slight smudge at the end, but not too noticeable on that upper deck. But there's his rookie card and 3 Mets cards that he signed for me. And if you don't know who Mackey Sasser is, he played, let me get those are on camera pretty good. Mackey Sasser played for the Mets, and he also played for the Pirates, but he had an issue. And to summarize it the best I can explain it is he could not throw back to the pitcher from the catching home plate. He was a catcher and literally had problems throwing the ball back to the pitcher after a pitch. And there's probably multiple YouTube videos out there showing this. And I know I saw a special on ESPN or Fox Sports or one of those channels talking to him about his psychological disorder that he developed as a player. and he was never able truly to recover from that. And he had to retire from baseball because he could not work through this issue. So if you ever get a chance, YouTube Mackey Sasser, read a story on him, whatever, if you get some time. He has a very interesting story about his playing career and the disorder that he had. And I'm not going to say anything negative about Mr. Sasser. It's very admirable that he is public with his, problems that he's had. And the thing that I want to say is he's a very brave man for sharing this with the world. I mean, a lot of people that have disorders, whatever they are, they're very ashamed about it. And this individual was on the biggest possible stage he could be on, playing in New York City, coping with the issues that he had. And it just goes to show that baseball players are human beings too. They have problems just like we do in our lives, whether personal or private or whatever. But, they are human beings, and his story is pretty tear-jerking. If you ever get a chance to watch it, definitely check it out. So, thank you, Mr. Sasser. Very happy to add those to the collection. Alright, this next one is postmarked from Cleveland, Ohio. So, let's see who we got here. Possibly another Cavalier. Maybe. Let's see here. Nope, this is actually not who I thought it was. But a former Kansas City A / Minnesota Twin. And that is Mr. Joe Nossek. And if you remember that card from one of my pickup videos, my card show pickup video, I picked up this set, and this is like a Minnesota Twins Legends set. And at the time of buying it, there had been a lot of guys that passed away out of this set, so there was only a handful of guys that I still could actually get an autograph from, out of this set, and Mr. Nossek was one of them. So I started going through my vintage cards, and I noticed he was a coach on Del Crandall's staff when Del Crandall was the manager of the Brewers. So I'm not sure if Jim Walton or Al Widmar are still alive. I might have to look into that, but I know Del Crandall's still alive. And he requested a small donation for an autograph, like a, $5 or something like that. I don't know. But Del Crandall was a very, very good ball player back in the day. So, thank you, Mr. Nossek. Very happy to get those, back from you. Or Nossek. If I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I apologize. And finally, let's see what we got here. We got another one postmarked from Knoxville, Tennessee. So Knoxville, Tennessee again. We'll rip that open on camera. And that is from, Mr. Steve Searcy. Now, Mr. Searcy is a former Detroit Tiger. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And Mr. Searcy was a left-handed starter. I'm not too positive how long he pitched. I know he didn't have a very long career. I want to say after he was with the Tigers, he might have played for the Reds, come to mind. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. But I want to say he played for the Reds for a brief time period, but he was not a big time starter or anything by those means. And the biggest reason that I decided to write him was, how when you go through your cards, especially your junk wax era cards, and you just keep seeing the same guy over and over and over again? Well, that was kind of my case with Steve Searcy. It seems like every time I picked up a stack of cards, I would have a Steve Searcy card in there. So finally I said, you know what, I'm just going to stack 5 to the side and I'm going to look him up and see if he signs to the mail, and I'm going to send them to him. That's really the only rhyme to reason of why I wrote Mr. Searcy. is because I just have an ungodly amount of his cards for some reason, and I don't know why. It's just like every time I pick up a stack of cards, there seems to be a Steve Searcy in there for some reason. So, very happy to add those to the collection, Mr. Searcy. Thank you for signing them. He has, if you guys are looking at the cards here, basically he's in all of the 89 sets. So if you have the Randy Johnson rookie, the Ken Griffey Jr. rookies out of these sets, he was a rookie that year too. Just didn't quite have the career those two guys did. So they're definitely easy to come by if you really want to find some. So thank you very much. Nice little stack of autographs here that we got back. Very happy to get the leaders card back from Goltz. Gonna figure out what I'm gonna do with that after I get Dennis Leonard to sign it, hopefully. And thank you for watching another episode. I hope you enjoyed this Through the Mail Thursday episode, and look forward to seeing your comments below. Thanks.